Hi everyone, it's Claire Jarvis here at Restore Fitness Therapies, and in this video I wanted to explain to you why having poor posture may be causing or exacerbating your back pain. Now, it's fair to say in Pilates that we are obsessed with good alignment and good posture, and we're always looking to find what we call a neutral spine, which is the natural S-shaped curve that runs through the spine and gives us optimum strength and stability. But the reality is that most people do not have perfect posture. And what we tend to find is that people's day-to-day lives tend to pull them out of alignment. So things like carrying a handbag or carrying children will tend to pull your spine sideways a little. Looking downwards at devices and computers can pull us forwards there. There's all things like wearing high heels can sort of cause women to push backwards slightly. There's all sorts of things going on in day-to-day life which are kind of working against us having this really beautiful posture which works for us. And as a result, lots of people can end up with back pain. So what I'd like to do today is run you through the two main sort of postural deficiencies that we see the most and which are the most common in modern society, just to see if either of them might ring true for you. Now, the first one is what we call a kyphotic posture. Now, this is when somebody tends to lean forwards through the upper body. You might describe it as something like a widower's hunch. Now, as well as people leaning forwards, what they tend to do also is round through their shoulders as well. And now, because they're rounded forwards and hunched forwards, in order to see upwards, they're having to lift their chin. So now they're straining through the back of their neck as well. So this is something that you may see around and about if you were having a look at people around you. Some people it's extremely pronounced, for some people it's not quite so pronounced. And we used to associate it with people who are very tall, who were maybe a little bit self-conscious, but there's lots of things these days that cause it. So as I said, some of the big things there are people being sat at desks for a long period of time, leaning in towards their computer screen, for example. For lots of us, having phones and devices which are getting smaller and smaller, which are kind of encouraging us inwards and downwards more and more as well. And things like driving as well can set us into this position that we sort of relax back into the seat and we can end up hunching and then leaning forwards. So if any of those things are things that you do during the day, it might be that you are either a little bit kyphotic or you might be in danger of going that way. Now, some of the symptoms of being kyphotic are that you're likely to have very short muscles at the back of your neck. So you might be subject to quite a bit of neck pain, and for some people that can go up into their head and cause them headaches. People will also find that their pectoral muscles, the muscles in their chest, are very tight because they're rounding, and equally the muscles across their back are pretty weak as well. So that is a kyphotic posture. Now, the second posture type that we see a lot of, which is not ideal, is what we call lordosis or a lordotic posture. And this is where someone has an excessive curve through their lumbar spine or their lower back. Now, this is something that's really common in modern day society. It tends to be associated partially with people who are carrying a lot of excess weight around the middle of their body, because that weight starts to pull their spine forward and causes this over curvature in the spine. Pregnant women are also prone to it, but obviously that's just a snapshot in time, and then once they're not pregnant, their spine will revert back to where it was again. So that's another really common posture type. And again, symptoms of that will often be a lot of stiffness in the lower back or the lumbar spine. It might be a lot of muscle tension where the muscles are being squeezed and compressed there. For some people, it comes out in sciatica because the sciatic nerve sits between the L4 and the L5 vertebra. So when they're getting compressed, the sciatic nerve is getting compressed, and that can cause this kind of tingling or burning sensation that people sometimes get down the legs at the same time. So again, if any of those symptoms sound familiar to you, or you think that you might be someone who falls into that category, just have a think about that. And what I'd suggest you do is partly think about your day-to-day lifestyle and whether any of those factors ring true for you, but see if you can take a photo of yourself from a side profile or get someone else to do it for you, and have a little look at your posture type, and we'll post some pictures of it as well so that you can see what they all look like there. But those are the two sort of postural deficiencies that we come across the most in Pilates. There are a couple of others as well. We call them a flat back, a sway back, and then there's scoliosis. They're far less common. Scoliosis tends to be something that people are born with and often need some medical intervention for correction. But the flat back and the sway back, you may be somebody who has those postural issues, and they can cause problems as well. Because they're a little bit less common, we're not going to cover them in this video. So basically, poor posture can really affect the way that you stand, obviously, and it can cause you quite a lot of pain as well. But it is something that can be fixed, and Pilates is excellent at helping to rebalance the body, help you regain that core strength you may be losing if you're starting to hunch or lean in odd directions there, and help you rebalance the muscular strength throughout the body. So if it's something you might be interested in finding a bit more about, whether you want to find out more about your posture type or you're interested in seeing how Pilates might be able to help you, do get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you, and we can certainly help you out.